morning, good afternoon, good evening. Why is it that a country like Zimbabwe, we have failed to hold free, fair, and credible elections, even now, 46 years after independence? One of the reasons for that is that we pretend. We like to pretend that we are a democracy when we are not. We like to pretend that it's working. Things are working. The country is doing very well. When we are not, when the country is in serious trouble. Zanu PF has been pushing for amendment number 3 to allow Mnangagwa to stay in power beyond his stipulated 2 maximum term limits, because the regime wants to pretend that he is the only one capable of delivering Vision 2030. And Vision 2030 is the country attaining an upper middle income status. Of course, it's all pretense. Vision 2030 is a mirage, but the regime wants to pretend that it is real. This video has been circulating on social media. What I found interesting is even those die-hard Chamisa Chete brigade members are the ones praising it. Let's hear what former President Obama was saying in this video.
To stop pretending that countries that just hold an election where sometimes the winner somehow magically gets 90% of the vote because all the opposition is locked up or can't get on TV is a democracy. Democracy depends on strong institutions, and it's about minority rights and checks and balances and freedom of speech and freedom of expression and a free press and the right to protest and petition the government and an independent judiciary and everybody having to follow the law.
What I found interesting there is that these Chamisa Chete brigade members have literally accepted that whole speech and are praising it. And yet they are the ones who are just equally guilty. Because like it or not, in Zimbabwe, we have gone from Zanu PF locking up the opposition to the opposition lying to the people, conning them to participate in flawed elections, knowing fully well that the Zanu PF is rigging the elections, knowing fully well that by participating, they are giving Zanu PF legitimacy. And yet the opposition itself is doing it. And worse still, the supporters are praising the opposition for it. The last 3 years has been an endless battle with some of these Chamisa Chete brigade members. They don't they cannot dare deny that Chamisa lied about plugging vote rigging loopholes, because the historic facts are there. He said they had plugged the vote rigging loopholes. Zanu PF was not going to rig the elections. And we all know, of course, that Zanu PF blatantly rigged the 2023 elections. Blatantly. They cannot deny that the lie was meant to con people to believe the process that CCC was going to win those elections. And thus con these people, millions of them, to participate in a flawed electoral process, which they did. And by participating, they gave Zanu PF legitimacy. They cannot deny that. And yet, they still do not want to accept that Chamisa is a liar. That's when you realize we are in serious trouble here. So we have got now the opposition pretending that is a democracy. We have got a healthy and functioning democracy, and actively assisting Zanu PF rigging elections and getting away with it. And to crown it all, we have got the Chamisa Chete Brigade, supporters of the opposition, who want to pretend that their leader is a victim of the failed political system, because they cannot accept that he is conniving with the regime. And when you try to tell them and point to them the facts on the ground, they don't want to hear it. It is sad, really. Like it or not, the opposition in Zimbabwe, MDC CCC, as Zanu PF Team B in all but name. They are the one who are perpetuating the Zanu PF dictatorship in Zimbabwe. And their supporters, millions of them, are caught between criticizing Zanu PF as a tyrant and supporting their opposition leaders blindly. They want to call Zanu PF the oppressors, the tyrants, and yet praise their opposition leaders blindly, not knowing that the opposition leaders are Zanu PF Team B in all but name. It is a complex issue. And unfortunately, we in Africa have got a knack for hearing but not understanding, for seeing but not comprehending. The same Chamisa Chete Brigade who are helping perpetuate the dictatorship are the ones who are completely lost. They don't see their role as perpetuating the dictatorship, when in fact it is. We try to point out to them, they subscribe to freedom of expression. And yet, if you tell them that participating in flawed elections is the most foolish thing the nation has been doing, they don't see it because they like to believe their leaders. They will follow the likes of Chamisa blindly. And that is the very antithesis of a democracy. A healthy and functioning democracy demands that the electorate should be educated, knowledgeable, diligent in holding their leaders to account. In the Chamisa Chete brigade, they think the leader is a demigod. How anyone can believe that in this day and age? Beggars belief.